Today's Emerging Technology, Robot-Assisted Surgery by Ellen Higgins, Cornerstone University. This is the first thing I thought of when I thought of robot-assisted surgery. Obviously, all we see in movies are robots that look like the photo on the left. The photo on the right happens to be a replica of a Darth Vader arm that you can actually purchase on Amazon. Now, I want neither of these things doing my surgery. An actual robot-assisted surgery was first introduced into urology. Urology is the branch of medicine that is concerned with the urinary system. Now, the technical term for the robot is the Da Vinci surgical system. You can see from the video how delicate it has to be to perform the surgery. Here you see that it's peeling a grape. The robotic arm actually does not operate on its own. It's being controlled by a surgeon at a console. Whatever the surgeon does, the robot does. Now, what I first thought when I heard that a robot is being controlled by a surgeon, what is the point of having a robot-assisted surgery? If a doctor is controlling the robot, why couldn't he just do the surgery himself? There are a lot of pros and cons that we'll get into, but first, take a look at the photos here. The photo on the left is what it looks like when surgeons are practicing. The photo on the right is it all set up and ready to go in an actual surgery. There is a big difference. Some of the pros of robot-assisted surgery: shorter recovery time, smaller incisions, less pain and scarring, lower risk of infection. Robots can perform actions more smoothly, less time in the hospital, and less reliance on pain meds. Now, how does a robot perform all of those functions? Well, a robot's more precise, like I said. It's smaller, and like I said, creates smaller incisions. A robot can perform certain actions, such as rib spreading, with much smoother feedback-controlled motions than could be achieved by the human hand. Here you see two photos of small incisions above the belly button and right below it from a robot-assisted surgery. You can see from these three photos of the different types of surgery that the two on the right will be less invasive. Now, I spoke earlier about the Da Vinci surgery system, but another type is the laparoscopy incisions. Robotic surgery is similar to a laparoscopic procedure in many respects. The surgeon makes several small incisions and uses a video camera and instruments to guide his or her work. The difference with robotic surgery is that the surgeon sits at a computer and uses hand controls to manipulate the robot, rather than just holding and manipulating the tools themselves like they do with laparoscopic surgery. Now, just from looking at these three photos, I would much rather have tiny incisions versus one long incision down my stomach. I can see why you would need more recovery time with a long incision like that than you would with tiny incisions. Now, with the pros, there are also cons of robot-assisted surgery. The cost of this can range from $30,000 to $50,000 per surgery. Not only that, robots can malfunction. They are not perfect. There was a high increase in injury and death rate in 2013 that has tapered off since, but it is a possibility. Not only that, there is a possibility of not having fully trained doctors. Problems can get magnified if a surgeon doesn't have advanced laparoscopic surgical skills to begin with and doesn't have a full command of the device. That means it's easier to cause inadvertent injury. Training protocols are different at every hospital. There's no magic number of supervised procedures that must be performed before a surgeon is ready. Usually a sign-off will come from a more experienced colleague or even the board of directors at a hospital when they decide that they're satisfied with a surgeon's skill set on the machine. Not only that, there are salespeople, that have to sell these robotic machines. They don't always go to surgeons or hospitals that have a great reputation or the training to do this. They will sell to people just to meet a quota. So you always want to do your research when it comes to choosing a surgery that involves a robot. You should be asking your surgeon how experienced he or she is and whether there have ever been any complications. And it's also a good question to ask the hospital as well. Ultimately, the decision is up to you. It is important in knowing what you're getting into. You want the technique to be right for you, not just a surgeon pushing one or the other for their own benefit and not your own. I hope this presentation has given you some insight into what robot-assisted surgery is and what it looks like.